Alright gang, welcome back to what I'm going to call the final attempt to get back into our Maypole Farms series, which is our vanilla survival with a twist. I mentioned in a post recently that every time I try to load it up here, it, well, quite frankly, it kicks us back out to the dashboard on the Xbox. So, every other map I try to load up seems to be okay. There was a recent update, I think, just this morning, or maybe it was late last night, I don't know, for Farming Simulator. Maybe it fixed it. Let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, what we're going to do with this series is unfortunately have to abandon it, because I can't get it to load up, of course. But two, a lot of discussion happened in the comments around, you know, what should we do before this catastrophic issue has been occurring, and most of the agreement was we should, you know, do the harvest, and then whatever money we've made total, sell everything, whatever money we've made total, take that, start anew on a new map with a little bit more money this time than we started at the beginning of this series off with, and go from there. So I do think that's a good idea. That's probably what we'll end up doing, and we'll see. So let's try to load it up and see what happens. I will tell you, it gets to about 50-ish% normally here on the load, and then it kicks me to the dashboard. So let's see what happens here. If it happens again, what we'll do for the rest of this brief episode here is just kind of look at some different maps maybe and see if we can figure out what we want to play next for this series. Yep, there it goes. Every time. Every single time that happens. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, but I think we're going to have to just go ahead and cancel the series at this point, gang. I apologize for those of you that were enjoying it. But we'll take a vision of it and hopefully create another series with it on a different map, right? I tend to like Cavalier Roy's maps, obviously, but this is the second time I've now run into catastrophic issues with his maps when he doesn't update. So, we're going to delete it, gang. It's over. Maypole Farms is gone. Real unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. There's not much we can do about it. So we're going to go ahead and uninstall this. I think this was included with it. I'm going to remove this too. And if we need it back for another, you know, whatever map we decide to go with, then so be it. Let's take a peek here. I haven't looked in a while. I'd like something a little bit different here. This one is kind of calling my name a bit. I've looked at this one in the past, never played it, never loaded it up, but I like the actual layout of the map itself. I just think it looks very pretty. The map fields themselves look a little bit larger maybe than what we would normally anticipate or want. It does appear that most of it is a grass type of map, if you will. Let's go with it. Renabu 25. I'm probably going to say that completely wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me in the comments, but Renabu is a narrow valley in Norway. I would love to go to Norway one time. Surrounded by mountains divided by the river Orkla. Even though the map is smaller, you should still feel at home if you've played the map in FS22. Okay, so this was an FS22, I guess? I don't remember this being an FS22. Maybe it was a mod in FS22, but I don't think I ever played it. We're going to go with this one, gang. We're going to go with this one. Let's go ahead and install it. Buildings of Norway. So again, the same rules are going to apply for this series that we're going to kind of move to, where everything is, the only mods we can't really use, the only mods we can use are anything that has to be included with this map, which you just saw, right? Other than that, the only thing we're allowed to utilize for the series is simply vanilla, straight out the box, and any of the DLCs that are official by Giants. No mods of any sort other than the actual map itself and anything that the map requires to load. So we'll let this install. I will see you in the map, and we'll figure out where we're going to actually start at. This will just be kind of the last episode in the playlist here for the Maypole Farms. We won't really do anything major here. It'll probably be a little bit of a shorter episode, but we won't do anything major, and we'll get it prepped and ready to go for what will be the series that takes over the vanilla survival. Very unfortunate, but it seemed like everyone was understanding of that, and I just wanted to kind of show you what has been happening to me for the last handful of days. I haven't been able to get a recording done because of that. Now, maybe if I waited a little bit longer, maybe something would happen, right? Maybe they would fix it. I don't know, but it seems a little weird that that's the only one having that issue. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you inside the map. All right, it's got it all loaded up here, gang. This is the first I'm going to see it, along with you as well. So we'll just jump straight into here, and we're just going to kind of take a peek around here. I don't normally do a whole lot of this. I do this a little bit more for members of the channel, you know, kind of figuring out different maps and where we might start at. I don't do this a whole lot with all of you, so a little bit of an extra bonus here, just based off the fact that we couldn't get Maypole Farms to work anymore. So I'd like to kind of first off just, you know, go from a high level here and just take a bird's eye view of everything we're looking at here. Now, I gave us $750,000. We likely had more than that. It's still a lot of money. Oops, sorry, gang, I hit the microphone there. It's still a lot of money. We've got to buy, you know, fields, and we've got to buy equipment and everything, right? We had a lot more of that, so this is still a lot, but it probably was more. But we'll just play. We'll play by ear here. If it ends up being that this is not enough money to get us started for some reason, it should be, but for whatever reason it's not, we can always reload it when the actual game starts and kind of go from there, right? So this is kind of a really nice area back here. I really like this back in this area here. This looks like it's a prime spot. We have to get rid of some trees to put some kind of a lake right here, though, or a little lake, a pond. Although the water might end up draining down to here, I don't know. A nice little shed there. Nice creek going through the trees here. It's pretty nice. Okay, so where is that specifically at? It's down here, right? 84? Is that where we just were? Yeah, 84. Okay, so this... Oh, wow. Okay, so these things are super expensive, so we're probably going to have to change tactics here. We might have to have some more, or we just need to look for somewhere else. I guess I didn't realize that it was as big as it actually is, because that's pretty hefty. That is a lot. Okay, so let's look. Let's see. Let's just look at it from the map perspective now. So we're kind of down in this region here. Perhaps over here, maybe is where we should be looking at some of these smaller type of fields to start with. Man, that's a really tiny field. Oh, that's a really tiny field. Let's see. Yeah, most of this is all grass, it appears, right? It's all grass-based fields. This is some pretty severe hills we're dealing with here as well. I mean, those are really steep hills, so we're gonna have to keep that in mind here. It's probably gonna be difficult to kind of create our own yard here as well, based off the fact of how hilly this map is. We're basically on the side of a mountain here, right? So... This is very pretty, though. It's a very pretty map. Okay, so... Well, that's kind of nice. I kind of like that. I like that barn. That barn is cool. That's a really cool barn. I bet it's outrageously expensive, but I do kind of like that. What else we got? It's a little bit flatter down here. Maybe a little bit more room to work with. There's open area here. I'm not really sure what was supposed to be there, but there's nothing there right now. Here's another one of those barns, and it's right next to I think this is that tiny field we were looking at on the map. So there's an option here for us to potentially get this one. This field here, or this field right here, excuse me, and then make this our yard area. I don't dislike that. I kind of like where it is. It's raised up a little bit. Okay, how much is that over there? Let's go look at it. Okay, so for 65, 66, the little tiny field is 7,408. For 65 is 297. I think that's a relatively decent area to start off with. I do think we need bigger fields than that. Perhaps we buy the one right across the road here too. Now these are grass fields. Not 100% against doing grass fields, but it was not initially the intention that I had planned to do with the vanilla survival on the initial one. But since we're kind of starting anew, perhaps we go from a grass approach at least for the time being, and then maybe we move to something else later on. Yeah, I think I kind of like the idea of buying this area here. Let's just, before we do that though, let's just make sure. Let's keep scanning before we do. I like this area a lot. I think I would probably remove this building here. I might even buy this land here with this house. This house is kind of cool. I might do that. Or even this one. It doesn't really matter. Little bit of a parking lot here, it looks like. That church is cool, too. That's a really cool church. It's a different looking church. I don't think I've ever seen a church like that ever in my life. This bridge is pretty sweet looking. Not really sure what's over here, if anything. It just looks like it's basically a road that dead ends. I guess maybe you could buy some of this land and get some of these trees off the side of the hill if you wanted to, I guess. Mostly it's just kind of a coastal road here that eventually you can go over here. Obviously, these fields, it matters, but... This is pretty flat down here, so... It's an option if we don't want to buy, you know, a yard that's already set and ready to go. Ooh, this is nice. Ooh, look at this. Now that's kind of cool. So that's the way to get into it. That's the only way to get into there, it looks like. So are we even able to get into it, or is it just kind of for looks? It might just be for looks, right? It's kind of looking like it might be just for looks. Still, that's kind of a cool little area, right? Yeah, I think, gang, I think we're gonna go with that one. That one we just were looking at. I don't see anything else specifically that's calling my name here. This is nice. This is really nice, actually, but I wasn't really planning on... I mean, we had sheep and goats because we were, you know, utilizing that to our advantage. But I wasn't really initially planning on doing animals. I ended up doing so, but it wasn't really my initial goal. This is pretty nice, too, actually, back here. This is clearly just for looks. There's nothing really to this. This is also very, very nice. I like the house here. I like that deck. That's really cool. Although, I feel like most of the deck is kind of blocked by this building here. You can't even really see. But that's kind of cool. Well, really, there's a lot of options here for us to choose from, right? There's really a lot of options to pick between. I just feel like a lot of these buildings, though, are not, you know, they're not anything that can be utilized. I feel like a lot of them are just kind of fake. It would be cool. I don't know if we can. It would be cool if we were able to buy this island and build a bridge out to this island and then, like, you know, turn that into something. That would be kind of cool. I don't think we can in the game, but if they were decided to do something like that, I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm still, so far, I'm still leaning towards this kind of an approach here at owning these fields here. It's not a very big amount. Perhaps we branch. Maybe we buy one. Maybe we buy this big field here too. I don't know. I guess it really depends on the kind of money we have and after we buy everything that we need to buy, right? I think I've made my decision, gang. I think that is where we're going. I'm not really seeing anything else that's really, you know... There was that one area, but I kind of like this one here in the middle a little bit better, right? Okay. All right, so I think we've made our decision up. So how much is it for... Oh, wow. You get that whole land. If I want to buy the area with this house, I get the whole land and that other house too. That seems a little weird, right? That seems a little weird that you're giving me two houses. So I might hold off on that. I don't really think I need both of those. That doesn't really make any sense to me. And I can't remove the one, even if I wanted to. So, okay. Well, we're going to go for it. Right or wrong, this is what we're doing, gang. We're going for it. All right, that leaves us the $420,000, which is a decent amount of money, but honestly, it's not that much. What is this? Barley, and it's ready to harvest. The field itself is $165,864. I'm not exactly sure that I want to do the grass thing. We've got these grass fields, so maybe I should. But I don't really think that's what I want to do. Well, either way, we know we're going to get rid of this farmhouse. I don't want that. I don't really care about this little tiny shed. We're going to get rid of that. I don't care about this one either. We're going to get rid of that. Okay, well, let me get rid of this. Oh, maybe I got rid of something else. I don't know. All right, so I guess what I need to do here first, before we move forward, is can we even open up this barn, or is it literally just for looks? I have no idea the answer to that. It appears that it is just for looks. I was afraid of that, but I was kind of hopeful that that wasn't the case, but I was afraid that that was going to be the case, that it was just a barn for looks. I love this barn. I don't really think I want to get rid of it, but at the same time, it is taking up a lot of space, right? Really, what we should maybe end up doing, get rid of the barn, get rid of these trees, and we combine this with this field over here, and then it becomes a relatively larger size, field. But again, if we go that approach, we're in a situation where we don't have a yard, right? I guess what can be done... What is this? Carpentry. I guess I can buy this land across the way here and then use this as my house. Because it doesn't seem it's going to let me remove this house. It lets me remove this one, even though I like this house better. We could then turn this whole area here into our yard. It looks like it's relatively a good spot to put a yard anyway. We'd have to do a little bit of land smoothing here because it's not the flattest in the world, but it's also not terrible. I think we can make it work. It's going to cost a lot of money to do that, though. A lot of money. So we'll buy it for now. It's $197,000 is what it leaves us with. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. I'm going to get rid of that. Evidently, it gives us twice the money for some reason. Okay. I'm not really sure why, but whatever. And we're going to get rid of this one. So we're getting a good amount of money off these buildings. It puts us back in a better spot here, I think. Yeah. We're going to have to get rid of these trees, right? Which is going to take a while, but I do think this was the right approach. As much as I wanted this to be the yard area, I think this was the right approach. Turn this into the yard area. It's already kind of built to be almost like a yard. And this is our house, right? Kind of separated. We can leave these trees to kind of separate that from the yard area. Okay, $447,000. So, I think what I'm going to do... man, this is some really tall grass. Holy smokes. I think we're actually going to mow the grass. Hear me out for a minute. I think we're going to mow the grass. Maybe we put down a small, very, very tiny pen for sheep and goats again. Just to kind of follow that path we did previously. And then we're going to get rid of the trees and stuff off this land here and turn this into a one full field. So we'll make this whole area, we'll combine it with this field and make this all one field. We'll buy this field and harvest this field today. So that means we're going to have to buy a harvester, right? And then eventually we'll turn this field plus this field, obviously, into actual crop fields like this one. I think that's a pretty solid plan. It's a plausible plan, at least. That is a fantastic tractor. We cannot afford that, but that is a fantastic tractor. Okay, so we are playing vanilla here, so you gotta remember that, right? There's not going to be a whole lot, unfortunately, that we're going to be able to utilize that's cheap. Last time we got such a hell of a deal in the used market. That's not the case here. So unfortunately, we're going to go with the MF8570. We've used this one a ton in lots of different series, but we're going to have to. It is what it is. Let's see. Trelleborg, Continental, Verdestein. Trelleborgs are the ones I like the better. So that's a lot of money right there out the gate. And then we'll buy this header. I kind of like the black. I'm going to go with the black. I'm not going to buy the trailer for right now. I'm going to see how bad it is for us to get it over here. As a matter of fact, I don't even know where is the starting spot in comparison to where we are now. Oh, it's literally just right here. Yeah, I'm not buying the trailer. I'm not spending that $1,000 on the trailer. Well, can I get that across there? I hope so. But I'm not going to if I can just drive straight up to here and get to what our yard area will be. I'm not going to worry about it. So we're not going to do that. All right, so we've got that. Now, we are going to need a trailer and a tractor, at least right now, at a bare minimum. So, I would ideally like to have some kind of a medium-sized tractor, but they're going to be pretty expensive, right? They're going to be expensive. I don't want to spend that much money if I can help it. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe this Unimog here, because it does have the ability for us to be able to put stuff in the back, and we should be able to pull stuff like a normal tractor with it. It has the extension we can buy as well, which is a good thing for us, I think. It's expensive, but, you know, we're getting kind of a 2-for-1 deal here, if you will, right? The platform costs us $5,000. It's $4,500 more for the bigger one. Why would we not go with that one? I'm not going to worry about the engine setup right now. We're going to leave it at that. If we have to sell it later, we have to sell it later, right? I think maybe a beacon would be nice. I don't think I really need two. I think one's fine. I kind of want this, but I'm going to hold off for right now. We'll do the 3-point hitch in the back. We're going to need that. I know a lot of people don't like this tealish type of color, whatever it's called. Just to say Ben's green truck. I don't really necessarily hate it, I don't think. I'm going to keep it, even though that maybe doesn't make everyone happy. I'm going to keep it anyway. That kind of brings it back together, making that black on top. We'll go with that. $88,750. This is a way to save us a little bit of funds overall. Having said that, we spent a ton of money on the actual piece itself, but that's okay. We can do two things at the same time with it, really, at least for the time being. So quick auto save here. If it hurries up and saves, oh my goodness, that takes forever. Okay. What was that? Oh, please don't tell me that the whole game is just screwed up altogether. Oh, man. Please tell me that this is not completely just corrupt the whole game. All right, we're back in here. It's working fine for the most part, so let's just hope for the best here. Let's get all the game settings set up here, because I haven't done any of this yet either. We just jumped straight into it. We want seasonal growth. We want 1 day per month. I don't want that. I do not want the periodic plowing on for this specific series. I am going to leave... I don't really want to deal fieldstone. We're going to turn it off. Disaster instruction, fine. I'm going to do slow on the dirt. I don't want the automatic start on. I don't like that. I want all of the worker stuff off, and then everything else should be fine. Yeah, everything else should be fine. Okay. So I'm going to quick save again. Hopefully it doesn't crash. This is taking longer than it should. And it crashed again. Oh my gosh, gang. I don't even know what to do here. Every time I save, it's going to crash now? Is that what we're going to be dealing with here? I've checked. There's no updates. I've checked. Well, I'm going to hope for the best here, gang. That's what we're going to say. We're going to hope for the best here and hope that we're able to continue on here. I'm really concerned, but we're going to hope for the best and say that You know, even if as long as it saves and I have to reload it, I guess it could be worse. You know, it's not the most ideal thing in the world, having to reload every time you save, but anyway. So we're going to pull all this stuff up here. Now, a couple other things that I would like to do just as the setup process here before we actually start the series. We're not going to actually start the series in this episode. We're just getting everything set up, if you will. I would love to get a shed or something put down up here and where our yard area is going to be at, right? You want to at least have one shed. Ideally, maybe even a silo to go along with it. We'll look and see. The problem is we are on, you know, vanilla, right? So we don't have the cheap mods or anything that we can go for, right? So it might not be as easy as that seems. Okay, so not going to do any saving yet, though maybe I should. All right, what do we got here? What do we got? What can we... really, I think I'd like to put something right here. I think this is a perfect spot for it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to soften this area up here a little bit. It's going to cost some money. Probably going to cost a lot of money, if I'm honest with you, but we're going to do it anyway. And we are glitching. This is not good, man. Things are not going well here. I don't know what is happening, but this is not a good thing. All right. And let's see. Can we find anything that's reasonable? There's going to be some, like I said, that are included here with the buildings of Norway. Evidently, there's a fix. There's some kind of a maintenance. It's like a maintenance shed inside of here. Interesting. So I think the problem becomes this building. You can already tell you it's too large for the header. Can we even get the harvester in there? I don't think we can. I don't think we can. Same with this one. These are too big, right? So that's I guess that's one of the issues we're dealing with here. Is some of this stuff is just they're not going to fit. This one would. This one would. It actually might even fit the header in there. If it allows me to open it. I hope this is not just a... You know, I decide to put this down, and then it's literally just for looks. Because that would just be disastrous, right? This is, to me, just seeming like it's not even going to allow me to open this up. I don't know why I'm thinking that now all of a sudden, but to me, it just doesn't feel right. Really, really like the look of this one. I really do. But, again, this is not something it's a very similar type of garage storage as the other one. It's not something we're going to be able to get our harvester in there too, and that's really the one thing I want to try to fit into the shed is the harvester. So, you know, this is like a standard one from the Highlands fishing pack, but you know it will. Well, maybe it won't. I was going to say it will fit this in there, but maybe not. It'll be snug if it does fit it in there. So 64,000 looks like about our best bet here. I mean, I can go with this one. I don't love it. We utilized something similar already on the Highlands map. So I don't necessarily love that one. 85,000. I mean, maybe it's fine. I don't know. This one's like super long, right? But it has an actual garage on the other end, which makes me think that, you know, again, that's not going to fit there, though. So that's, you know, it's not really what we're looking for. Perhaps we just go with this one. The only problem with it is it's such a long shed that I'm afraid it's just going to take up too much space, but maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. I mean, I don't love that, but it does give me some, you know, opportunity here to try to smoothen some of this out here and make it look hopefully a little bit better. Okay, let's try this again. Here it is. And then if I soften this up a little bit, it probably is going to look a little bit better overall, right? It's just going to be easier. Everything is going to be nice and tidy. I'm actually okay with that little bump there on the edge of the tree there. We'll try to smooth it out a little bit. I don't think it's going to let us do much there because of the tree, though. The roots and stuff are going to be a little bit of a troublesome area for us. And then we'll just try to smoothen this out a little bit. I don't think it's going to let me do much because we are kind of close to the edge there of the boundaries. But, you know, if it lets me do a little bit, that's fine. Alright. Let's go put this stuff away. We got one shed. We've got $188,147 to the name. It's not a ton of money. Not a ton of money by any means. We didn't buy this field. We're going to buy this field now. Leases with 22,283. It's not a ton of money, but if we look at where we ended the last episode of that Maypole Farms, we had somewhere in the vicinity of 22, 23, 24,000, something along those lines. So, I think starting money-wise, relatively realistic. Maybe not as much land as we have and the things that we had on the ground. Maybe not there. As a matter of fact, definitely not there. But you know what? That's okay, right? That's okay. We'll get there. We will get there. I'm not overly concerned with that. We will get there. And like I said, we're allowed to sell things anytime we want. So if things aren't working out for us, we can always sell stuff and start over, if you will, with the amount of money we make back. But with that, we're going to leave the episode here. I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologize that we had to cancel Maypole Farms. We're going to start something new here on Renaboo as long as I can get as long as I can get the game to stop crashing on me. But I'm very, very concerned about that. So we'll see. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my members. Cannot thank them enough. If you haven't done so already, hit the like, subscribe button for me, and we'll see you next time.